The catalytic converter made the president rich, and it also made cities really expensive. So if you go back to the 1940s, there was a lot of pollution in the air. There was smog, and that's from nitrogen oxides and sulfur dioxides. And that came from, well, cars and trucks driving around, putting a whole lot of pollution in the air, plus coal power, plus oil, all of that pollution, nitrogen oxide, sulfur dioxides in the atmosphere made this really nasty soup cloud we called smog. And that stuff was really dangerous. By the 1960s, we realized, hey, we could probably clean it up. But at the same time, we were using gasoline in our cars that had lead in it. Leaded gasoline, which is pretty crazy because that is a neurotoxin for your brain. People who lived in cities were breathing all of this leaded gasoline, and it caused a lot of, well, we're basically, if you're old, right, we're a little dumber than younger people because we grew up with a lot of leaded pollution. When you put out the catalytic converter, that reacts with the gasoline to reduce the amount of nitrogen oxide, sulfur dioxides, and other pollutants. Side effect is you can't have lead in the gasoline. So we took the lead out of the gasoline. All of a sudden the smog clears up. Leaded pollution in the air drops. And that means that the crime wave started to fall. There was a giant crime wave in the 1980s in cities. And guess what? It fell. Murders and homicides and violent crimes, all that stuff was crazy high in the 80s. And now the only time you're really going to see crime in New York City is on Law and Order. So you took out the lead, took out the smog, people started to move back into the cities, real estate values went up, and if you were a real estate developer in the 1980s and you had some property, guess what? It went up in value and you looked like a genius. Maybe you became a billionaire. Maybe you had some properties right around here. Plus, the drop in crime from removing that leaded gasoline made cities a whole lot safer. So people moved back. We'll still complain about it, but if you go back in time, the air pollution problems in cities were really nasty.